Welcome back to Cards and Comics, and here is my updated man cave. I'm gonna start here because this is like where all my guitar equipment is. I'm actually gonna be making more musical content, which sounds really weird for a card channel or a comic book channel, but it is what it is. I'm actually writing songs. It's kind of weird. Here's some original art. So I'm gonna pan to the left here, and then you see where my man cave starts. Now this is my new setup. You can see I've got my Pac-Man, my supplies, my little display of cards, my computer, my little stand. Look at that. Cards and Comics swag, which is new for me, you know. I'm wearing my new hat right now. This is like where I'm setting up. So this is the comic books, this is cards. So I'm prepping. I'm either going to be grading here, or I'm going to be setting up, you know, with supplies, getting things ready for shows, getting things put in different holders so you can see what I'm working on there. Here's like the front of the display where I'll be doing most of the, podcasting, or whatever this is, YouTubing, and see Spidey. See, OBS is ready to go. There's the other guitars. And there's a display, and then behind me, which would be the new backdrop, is going to be, my Clemente collection here. And then Griffy's going to go down below the Clementes, and then over here is kind of the Hall of Fame, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle stuff. Football and other stuff's going to be on the bottom. I haven't got it done. And behind me is going to be Alex Schomburg, Golden Age Marvel books. And there we go. That's the setup. Hope you guys like it, and I'll be doing a lot of stuff from here because I can do this a lot easier and quicker. And we'll go on and do my mail day and my grading preview next. I did a little intro to show you what the man cave looks like. Still lots of crap everywhere, but I've got a place to, do this, and I'm very excited to be able to, stay down here. Now, the heater's going to turn on. I got a water heater down. I'm in the basement, so anyone who's lived in a basement knows that there's people walking around upstairs. It's just not the most conducive to making videos. It's much better than me hauling all my crap upstairs and doing this on the kitchen table, right? Now, today, I did show off a little bit in the intro. I got some swag, so I got my Cards and Comics hat here. I did it in multiple colors. I got this nice blue and black. The black is actually a Mitchell & Ness fitted hat because I love fitted hats. And so I am going to try to get some Cards and Comics swag when I go to card shows and comic book shows. Coming up pretty soon for me, I'm going to be going to probably either Syracuse or the Buffalo show. In April, there's a show in Rochester, and then there's the Albany show. So I don't know if I'm going to do a dealer at any of those, but I will be going. And so, anybody in upstate New York that likes going to shows, my kids sometimes like to go. But, I might do Buffalo as like a like a weekend trip, get a hotel, stay there, because Buffalo has some pretty fun stuff. There's Dave and Adams, you can go there and get some stuff there. But there's a pretty huge mall, and I've always had fun. There's Niagara Falls. There's stuff to do in Buffalo. So today I am going to be going through two things. Normally I do either a hobby talk and open and show off some cards. Today I am going to be doing a little different. I am going to be, not only, showing off some cards I just got, but I'm also going to be going through some cards I'm going to be getting ready to submit to either PSA or SGC. Now, hopefully you saw my SGC video where I showed the newer cards, that I got graded. And it's the first time I've submitted to SGC. I'm normally crossing over SGC to PSA. It's how I would, do a lot of vintage, and with varying success, but I did hit some pretty good crossovers. Check out those 2 videos if you want to check those 2 out. I hopefully can figure out how to put a link in this video to them. But the whole point is like, grading's starting to open up. SGC's really quick, and PSA, even at $100 a card, there is some things worth sending in. So we'll go into the card day, my mail day, and then we'll go into grading. And what I'm really looking for is like for folks to kind of give me their input on what I should send in, right away, or kind of like and should I send it to SGC or PSA? And I'll talk through my thought process, and you can give me your thought process. But here we go. We'll start with the mail day. All right, mail day first. Now, it's a little bit of an eccentric mail day, like all my mail days are, because one thing I found out, being on YouTube and being with other collectors, is that the way I collect, which is kind of a little bit of everything, with some major focuses. I have PCs. I have King Griffey Jr., Mike Trout, Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. I'm trying to get, a collection built of those players. And I've had a marble sketch collection and card collection for a lot of years. But I find is that if you don't just collect one thing, or you don't really promote one thing, people just go like, oh, well, you just don't collect certain things, or you just like, you just accumulate. You don't have a collection. You just got a bunch of random stuff. So that's what it's going to feel like today, because that's how I collect. I like having a variety, but to some people it is like you just have random stuff. So sorry about that. So the first card is like random stuff. Like it's a Centurion. This is the refractor version, and these are really tough cards, man. They're numbered out of 75. That's why I got this. I mean, this is like my, my big time pickup for Griffey will be to get this card. So I just like having the inserts. I did a 90s insert, video showing off my 90s inserts that weren't Griffey, right? Now Frank Thomas is starting to become a little bit of a thing for me, because he's obviously number 2 or number 3 in the 90s, however you want to look at it. Between him, Nolan Ryan, and Derek Jeter, right? And I do have Derek Jeter cards, as kind of a secondary 90s PC. But, just these really cool, man. These are numbered 75. I mean, just finding these are just really tough. I've opened some of these boxes, and, man, you don't even get a Centurion in every box. And those are numbered to 500. And, again, mentioning Frank Thomas, so here you go, 98 refractor here. And the cool thing about this card is that it's the no protector refractor. So the no protectors are easy to tell because the back is refractory too. So again, really cool card, and this is a card that eventually I should grade. Now with PSA being so out of the game for so long, and for me, I've never really considered SGC, a viable grader for me personally, because I just didn't really collect a lot of their cards outside of vintage. But now with modern being more accepted in SGC, this is a card that I probably should eventually send to SGC. Now I've been doing the $40, I think it's $40, like 10-day SGC turnaround, and that's been awesome. And that's how I got my first order back, and it was back like 2 or 3 days quicker than just standard. But this is something I should probably put into one of the slower SGC subs, along with, I got a lot of 90s Griffeys and early 2000 Griffey refractors and cards that aren't worth a ton, but I would like to have them slabbed or just graded because, look, I'm not stupid, even though I might be stupid, based on some of the comments that I've gotten in my videos. A lot of people think I'm stupid, but I know that eventually, I will sell some stuff, and, like it or not, having it graded just makes it easier to sell. It's just how it is. That's how our hobby works. You can swim against it or you can swim with it. I do a little bit of both. I'm not going to be the guy that says, do this always because it's the right thing to do. But, looking at my collection and saying, I got a few things I need to get, graded so that it's easier to sell, because I don't know, like I got so many PCs right now. I just don't know if I'm going to keep all of them up, because it gets so expensive to do everything like that. So I might sell a PC. Like, for example, I am selling Marvel cards, and You know, I like Spider-Man. I collect Spider-Man comics. But you know, these cards are gone so expensive that you know, I got to move some of them because I can take a Marvel card, sell it, and buy, you know, a 50s Hall of Fame rookie card, you know, or get a Willie Mays card I really need. And I just would rather have the Mays card. So, you know, that's just how it is. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think, you know, that's how things are done. So I might get rid of one PC to focus on another. So that's where I'm at because the value of things have gotten so out of whack, or, you know, it's kind of crazy. Now, the next cards here are going to be really weird. And so I'm not saying this is a spec at all. So, like, I'm not promoting people to go out and buy these cards, but I just thought they were interesting that these cards exist and they're cool. So here are DC, and these are Kryptozoic cards, right? This is the first problem with DC, right? So DC has this problem where they're like a day late and a dollar short. So when they had people making cards for them, they had Kryptozoic, which made really good sense, but they didn't have the legacy of Flair and Upper Deck. So you look at Marvel cards, they had the legacy of Flair and Upper Deck, so they could just pump out PMGs, jambalayas, whatever, you know, designs from other sports into the Marvel market, and people are like, yeah, I like that card because it reminds me of a Michael Jordan card. It reminds me of these classic sports cards. Kryptozoic didn't have any of that, so they had to build every insert from scratch. And let's face it, comic book cards were all about sketches and autographs. It's what the entire thing was built on. So the other inserts and cards were just ancillary. You know, when I opened 2019 and 2017 Marvel Premiere, which I opened a lot of it, it was about sketches. In fact, the reason I have so many PMGs that I end up selling, and I have so many more left, is because people would trade me PMGs for sketches. I got a whole entire Jambalaya Flair 2018 Flair Ultra X-Men Jambalaya set and the bronze PMG set in a trade for a sketch card. Okay, because it was a Ballard sketch card or a Milike Epac sketch card. It may have been the Milike Epac. I had a really nice sketch card. Okay, one of the really hot artists, and I got the PMG set, the Jambalaya set, another card, another sketch card for that, and that's how things were rolling, man. Like, and so sketch cards were attached. Kryptozoic had great sketch cards and autographs, so you can't really blame them for making sets the way they did because that's what collectors wanted back in these sets. So these cards here are like, you know, inserts, but they're numbered to, you know, 25. I'll show you if I can get it on camera. You know, there we go. See, it's kind of numbered to 25 there. There's two of them, but there's nothing special about this card. It's not foil. It's not all refractory. It's just the base card in a gold foil numbered to 25. And then there's two Black Adams here. I got two Poison Ivies. And that's not even a cool looking Poison Ivy. That looks like Black Widow with plants around her. I mean, yeah, again, maybe that's what the character looked like back then, but, you know, I mean, that doesn't even look like Poison Ivy. Again, you can see both of them are numbered to 25. So I have these two Kryptozoic, or, you know, Black Adam cards, Black Adam and Poison Ivy, both numbered to 25, right? So they're like a gold press proof or whatever you want to call them. But there is a set, and so Kryptozoic had this really cool super villain set, and they had these cards. And so they had these called noir cards, right? So, and they were black and white. And that's why they called them noir. And so the regular cards were black and white with like this, with either a black or white background. And so then they had these gold foil versions that are numbered again to 25. Now these look cool. Like, that is a cool looking card. That's a great image of Harley. And it's numbered to 25, and it's gold and shiny. So, you know, logic of the Marvel card market is that this is shiny. It looks sort of like a refractor, sort of like a PMG. So maybe it's going to do something. I don't know. For the price I paid, who knows? You know, maybe it'll be something. Probably not. You know, I'm not smart in these kind of things, but it's kind of fun to pick up and speculate on. Now, I do know one of those just sold for like $3,000, and it was like Doomsday. Okay, did it get paid for? Probably not. But someone bid $3,000 on one. So who knows? All right, back into normal cards, or normal cards for me. Here's a 1960 Whitey Ford PSA 8. I think I've got a 7 in this card. And again, Hall of Famers in the PSA 8 are just getting hard to find. It's not just like they're selling for more and more money every time. They're just not selling very often. It's a lot of 7s and 6s. Now, I'm getting ready to do a video on, year over year, how certain players in the vintage market have done. So I'm going to start with Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente. But I'm going to look at different grades. I'm going to look at like 7, 6, 8, then SGC versus PSA, and just see like, if you bought a PSA 6, did you actually make more money than if you'd have bought a PSA 8 or 7 percentage-wise, right? Because it is weird. Like, I've looked at some of the cards already, and the 6s are actually doing better in a lot of cases than 7s or 8s. And I just think it's because the price point and buy-in on those cards are so out of whack during this kind of like correction of cards that, in pricing, that people are just navigating towards the lower grades. And so you're seeing more competition. And those cards sell more often. So it is an interesting thing. Now, here is a 58 Harmon Killebrew. I don't actually have this card in any grade. So, again, it's a pickup of a cool Hall of Famer and a 7. It's a nice 7, though. And it's got great color, These cards are hard to get centered. Now, 58s have a really notorious thing for having super bad paper stock and the borders yellowing. So, like, this is actually a pretty nice white border. But you can get dingy borders with, chipping and just kind of like, kind of crap looking cards. 58s are hard to get looking with nice eye appeal. That's what I probably should have said. 55 Topps. Here we go. All-American Jerome Holland. Now, why do I have this card? Well, because Brud, which, is that even a real name? Like, really, Brud? I didn't really know. So I thought it was Bud. That's Brud. Like, really? I've never heard anyone called Brud. So I got this card because I went to Cornell, and you can see Cornell. Just happened to wear the shirt today. So I do collect Cornell players. I mean, it's not like a big focus, but when I see like an All-American card come up from a Cornell player, or Ed Marinero card come up that I don't have in a PSA 10, I grab it. They're not expensive. They don't really have a lot of great players. I think Seth Payne was the best player that's come out of Cornell in the last 20 years, maybe. Defensive player for the Jaguars. So, look, this is like the habit you get into as a collector, right? You just start more and more PCs. I got my Native American collection. I got the Cornell collection. I got my Pirate collection. I got my Chief Bender collection. So, yeah, it's weird because you start to get kind of over-collected. like you want to kind of trim it down, and you don't know where to actually cut it, because when you start collecting cards, you really make a connection to the cards and the player, and then you don't want to get rid of any of them, and then you just become a hoarder. All right, more Griffy cards, and again, these aren't really awesome grades. The cards themselves aren't let's say the number one type inserts, but the cool thing about this card, the reason why I got it, is because it's that cool foil Dufex, not refractor, but kind of refractory cards that were really popular in the 90s. You'd hardly see them anymore. Kind of the Kaboomy. It's interesting because Fleer had this technology. You saw on the Fleer metal cards from 95 Marvel, right? The Fleer metal 95 Marvel set had crazy etching and foil on them compared to the 2017 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man set. And I did a video on that, where it was like multicolored and all kinds of crazy rainbow patterns in the background, eyes shining, and then this is a good example of like the multicolors and just how cool that card is. And it's like $10 or $12 what I paid for it. But these cards are just so much cooler than modern. Like I make fun of Kabooms a lot because they're so boring compared to what cards used to be like in the 90s. Like, Downtowns and Kabooms are boring. They're just boring. They're not cool looking. like you would expect for a card you're going to pay $5,000 or $6,000 for it. That's why I don't like them. If they were $200, I wouldn't care. But people are like, I'm paying $10,000 for this Kaboom, and it looks like crap compared to a common insert from the 90s. Looks cooler than any Kaboomer downtown. And downtowns are freaking lazy, you know. They're the laziest insert set. You know, they'll just take like, hey, you live in Texas, so here's a tumbleweed and an armadillo downtown. You live in Alaska, here's an Eskimo and a seal downtown. That's how they make the cards. They're ridiculous. You know, you see like a Marvel set, at least they freaking pit real artists and draw stuff that looks cool. I don't know. That's my downtown rant, sorry. Here we go. King Griffy Jr. Big Shots. All right. You know, again, you know, it's just, I mean, again, 7, probably a $10 card. I don't have it, so it just fell into that. You know, it's a Griffy card I don't have for $10. You know, and again, you know, that's the one thing that's cool about eBay. Sometimes is you can just browse players and find something, and it slips through the cracks because of the grade, because it's not a cool set, and get it really cheap. When like I would never send that card in to get graded, right? Never. That would be a card that would sit in a raw holder in my collection forever. And so now it's graded. It's a 7, but it's, you know, again, when you sell a collection off, it's like, oh, well, I got my Griffy collection, and it's got, you know, all these cool Griffy cards, and 30% of them are graded. You know, that makes somewhat of a difference to some people. All right. I mentioned Jeter. And again, you know, when I can pull some cool Jeter cards. So this is 99 Bowman Chrome. This is the Aces Refractors. And I did a video where actually I opened a box of 99 Bowman Chrome. And I don't think I pulled the Aces Refractor on mine, but I believe I said these are like 1 in every 3 boxes. So they're not super easy to pull. So again, that's what's cool about the 90s Refractors is, you know, this card didn't cost me a whole bunch, but it is very cool for me because I love refractors. And it's also something that, you know, is somewhat rare that you're not going to see them everywhere. Now, this is a perfect card, and these are the kind of cards that when I go dumpster diving at card shows, is sometimes you'll find these, you know, Griffey, Jeter, Ripken, Nolan Ryan cards in the $5 or $10 bins, because people are like, oh, that's just some weird looking 90s insert card, and no one cares. And then you find out it's like 1 in 72, 1 in 288, you know, 1 in 700 pack kind of insert, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, it may not be worth a ton of money because it, you know, may have a weird design, or whatever. People just don't know who it is. Like, might be a Pacific card, for God's sakes. You know, but they're hard to get, and eventually, as a collector and as a player collector, it turns out that player collectors eventually start figuring out which are really hard cards to get, and then sometimes those cards become really expensive when people realize like that, you know, red foil Pacific, you know, whatever card is only, you know, 10 exists based on the you know, print runs or whatever. I mean, those things do kind of get out at some point. All right, so that ends that segment. So we're going to talk about grading, right? All right, so grading's open somewhat. You know, you can get in. I haven't done the lottery. I've done the lottery a few times. I don't even care anymore about trying to get in PSA's lottery because obviously it's just like a, you know, it's a long shot to get in. So, you know, I'm not going to spend time online, wasted part of my day trying to get in, unless I just got time to waste. If I'm on hold or something, just log in at the same exact time, might do it, but not really for me. So I've got 2 piles here. I'm going to start with pile 1. These are the cards I'm thinking about submitting to PSA, and I got some more cards here I'm going to throw into the mix because they're cool. All right, so pile 1, okay, and then pile 2 is the cards I'm going to think about sending to SGC at some point, but maybe I should think about sending some of these to PSA, right? Now, so you see a lot of Marvel cards on top. I keep saying I'm selling some Marvel cards to pay for other things. Now, card 1 is the Royal Foil Wolverine card, right? And I showed this off in my mail day, and this one's numbered out of 10. I don't know if you can really see that. there it is, number to 10, number 9 to 10, right? So, on Instagram and other places, been talking to a few Marvel guys. Finally, I finally got a connection with some Marvel guys. It's been hard for me because I've actually reached out to a few guys, and it's like that community is a little hard to, I think, break through because there's a ton of new people getting into the market and selling like stuff that's kind of sucks. And so it's like there's a lot of people, I got Marvel cards, and then you find out they're not really worth anything. So maybe like, oh, you got Marvel cards? Like, I don't want to look at your crappy 94 Skybox cards, whatever they could be out there. But I finally got a hold of some guys, and they were talking about what this card could be worth. And this card just sold for, I think, $9,000 in a BGS 9. And they're telling me that, there's some really big collectors looking for this card. And, if I send a PSA, it comes back 8 or better, 12 to 15,000 is what they think it could sell for. And I might have to do something crazy like send it to Golden. I mean, look, I that would kill me. Like, when I say like a little bit of my soul dies, part of my soul would die if I had to send something to King Golden to sell. But if, I gotta also look at it like, is the difference between me selling this on eBay by myself and selling it to King Golden like the difference between $9,000 and $15,000? Yeah, I mean, I guess my integrity is worth $6,000. I guess that's what that means. I mean, I haven't done it yet, so I still have my soul intact. But yeah, that's how we are. That's the truth about the hobby right there. $6,000, sell your soul, right? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny that if that's truly the case, then that's what I probably should do. Now, so this is like in the $100 pile. So it's hard for me not to think that this card is like A number 1 for me to get graded by PSA. Now, A number 2. Now I have 2 of these. Now, so this one is different. This is, I believe, hopefully I pulled the right one. Nope, I did not. So I'm just dumb. So let me go pull the right one real quick. Because sometimes I feel like, yeah, I'm crazy sometimes because, I've got so many of these cards and they're all just, at some point you get to thinking they're just cards and they're not, worth all this money. But here we go. Here we go. This was the card actually right here. So it is number 225. There you go. So it's the Spider-Man number 25. And they're saying this is like $5,000 to $7,000, right? So these 2 cards, now again, these are people like that want these cards to be huge and big. And so, is this $20,000 worth of cards, or is it $10,000 to $15,000? I don't know, but it's still a lot of money. I don't think it's going to go down to 0 anytime soon. So these 2 are probably definite PSA cards, right? And then this card is numbered to 99, and this could still be a couple $1,000s. So again, these 3 seem like cards that I probably should consider, but the first 2 definitely. Now, PC cards, right? So here is a gold refractor from 1999 Topps Finest. This is numbered out of 100. The issue with this card, and the reason why, and it's my thought process on this, is like this has the coating on it. And when I look at this card really, really, really under magnifying, it's got kind of like, I don't say bubbles or, it's just the coating isn't perfect. It's kind of rubbed off a little bit, or it's just got some, like some rub marks on it. And I'd hate to send that in and the card get like a 8, right? But if I were to peel it, it would be worth like a 9 or a 10. However, I think this coating has been on this card so long, I don't want to peel it. I'm afraid I might actually damage the card. So I'm really in a quandary what to do. Should I just get it graded and take the 7 or 8? Should I peel it and try for the 9 or 10? This is a really tough one for me because and it's oversized. It does not fit into like standard holders, like one touches or anything like that. That's why it's in this holder already, because it won't fit in anything else. So that's one that I'd like some feedback on. Like the first three, I mean, are kind of like, yeah, they're just worth a lot of money. I mean, right now, but but this card is really interesting because it's hard to see. You can see it's like scuffy, and it's not a perfect protector on there. But man, I sure hate to damage that card. Next up is a card I think definitely has to go, and I've had this card for almost a year, and it's the Ohtani Sapphire rookie card from Topps Chrome. This is a big card, and I just feel like even in a 9, which this card will probably grade either 9 or 10, it's worth it. And with season maybe start, I think this is kind of the other no-brainer. So I've got like 4 cards here that are no-brainers, but the Griffy's tough. Now, next up this is a Ken Griffey Jr. Fuller Brilliance Gold, and these are again numbered out of 99. There you go. 28 of 99. Now it has a little thing on the corner. If you can see it. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus. But it had a little, like, I don't say like a ding corner, but in that corner, there you go. You can see where there's a slight crimping. And let me pull it out of this, because it looks a lot worse than it's in that sleeve. Here we go. You can see it's hard to tell because I'm getting a lot of glare. You can see right along that edge where it was, when it was cut, it was like almost like the edge got rolled. And I just don't know how they're going to grade that card. There we go. See that? The little crimp edge thing right there. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't send that one in. I think they could hammer it. They could give it like a 6. They could give it an 8. I don't think it's going to get anywhere close to 9 or 10. So it's a bummer. It's a great looking card. I mean, I don't want to get killed on that card. So we'll see. I mean, that's one of my favorite Griffy cards. And last up is the Vladimir Guerrero Sapphire rookie card. And again, I've been just hesitant on him because his cards have been going down a little bit, even though he had a really good year. But it's a Sapphire rookie card. I mean, I had the Ohtani at one point and the Tatis. I had the Acuna and Tatis at one point too, and I did grade the Tatis, or had it graded, and it was like a 9, I believe. So yeah, that's long gone. All right, so that is sort of the cards I'm thinking about with PSA. Now, looking at this card more and more, I'm like, I just don't like that corner, that edge. Yeah, I mean, you can see a little roll. So I think that probably kills that card for that reason. Next up, and so this is one thing I was sending to SGC. Now, I've got these base metal cards, right? So, I've got multiples of every character except for the base Spider-Man. I just got 1. But every other character I got 4 to 5. So I got Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales. I got 5 or 6 of these guys. Venom, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. So I'm thinking about just doing one run of these, sending like 5 of these in at a time. These 5, these are the characters I would probably send in, these 5 characters, and just get one set and just see how they do, and then sell them and see how they sell, and then go from there. But I don't think they're worth sending into PSA, especially at the $100 and up, and until the economy gets back for everyone. Doesn't make sense. Here is a Vidal Brujan. Refractor Auto. I just found this in my pile of rookie autos from a box I opened. And I see this is going for some good money. And then but the big card I got is the Volp. I didn't realize I had this card. And I see this card selling for some pretty good money, graded. So I'm thinking of putting those two into SGC. And then here's the rest of my row of foils. There's Black Cat. Now this Anti-Venom is numbered to 25. So I'm wondering if this should go to PSA 2, even though it's Anti-Venom, which isn't a huge character. But it's numbered to 25. So again, I don't know which one I should do. I don't know if I should pay $100 to get it graded, or just send to SGC and get a grade and sell it. So again, a quandary. Now, Connor McDavid jersey SP Authentic jersey auto, just a cool card. I thought maybe just get that graded. Here is his base O-Pee-Chee rookie card, and I figure that comes back at 10. It could be worth some money. Now here is some really interesting. Here is the Elias. So these are Epac achievement cards. So here's the Young Guns, Elias Peterson, and this is like I forget what they call this kind. It's like a I don't know, like a snowflake looking. There's a term for these cards. I don't know exactly what it is because it didn't say what it is on them. I wish it did. Because you got the silvers, and this is, if you had, I think, 5 silvers, you got this card, right? So this is like a gold. You know, I would call it like almost like the gold foil version, but it's not. It's like the speckle or the bubble or whatever. I don't know. But here is the Elias Peterson. So if you think about this, you got to have 5 silvers. So to get 5 silvers, you need 25 Young Guns. So this is basically the equivalent of 25 Elias Peterson Young Guns that I converted into this one card. Yeah, probably not the smartest thing to do, but his cards have kind of cooled off a little bit, so maybe it's okay. But yeah, so I'm thinking send that to SGC. I just did the Kale McCarr. I got a 10 on it. So, you know, they seem to grade well. Then here's some more silvers. Here's a Capo Caco silver Young Guns. Here is a Nick Suzuki silver Young Guns. So I'm thinking I send them in. Here's a cool card. Here's a LeBron James. I forget. I think it's 2008. Topps Heritage, or Topps, they call it like 1952 style LeBron James Refractor. And these are numbered out of 299. Catch that. Yeah, 299. Really cool card, and I just think it's a cool early LeBron refractor. So I'm thinking about sending that in. Again, more Griffy, so here's another Griffy auto. And you saw the last one I sent, I got a 10 auto and an 8.5 grade, which is cool. And here's just some like random stuff, you know, Wander Franco, some Gretzky autos. That got a Epac. Here's a Cale McCarr canvas. Cale McCarr regular, Young Guns, and then more PC stuff. Here is a Lynchpins Griffey, cut above, and then another waterfall. So that's the piles I've created. So question for you guys, you know, in the comments is, you know, what would you send to PSA right away? Like, you know, because there's what I want to do. I want to send 2 cards to PSA, and then 5 cards to SGC like every month. You know, which is about $400 in grading every month, which is, you know, right now it's, you know, it's about what I can afford. And so 2 cards of PSA, you know, at 100, and then 5 cards to SGC at around $40. There's shipping and handling, so it's not going to be exactly 400. But what do you guys think? I mean, I'm thinking that the 2 royal foils, and then the Otani, the other royal foil would be like month 1, month 2, and then, you know, I could send these 5 in, or these Young Guns, or the Gretzky autos, or, you know, it's just like there's so much in here that needs to get graded, I think, to be able to sell. Or should I take some of these and send them to PSA and try to really, you know, capitalize the money? So that's the question for you guys. I mean, hopefully, you know, you guys want to let me know what your thoughts are, because, you know, this is a lot of stuff. Again, this is like a very small portion of what I need to get graded. This is almost like the stuff I just got, and it's top of mind. But I've got backlog of vintage cards like this, like like off the scale of vintage cards I need to get graded. And I want to send them to PSA, but I cannot send them at $100. Like they're just not they're too risky to do that. I want to send them in under some other um, level. Now I do have the full Jambalaya 2018 Ultra X-Men set that I'm either going to sell raw or get it all graded and sell. So I've got that to consider as well. So let me know. I mean, what you guys think. And also, I've been thinking about, Saratoga Springs doesn't have a sports card show on its own. And so if anyone's in the Saratoga Springs area that thinks it would be a good idea to have a card show here in the mall, think about maybe starting one, and just promoting a card show in this area. So just a thought, if anyone's in the upstate New York area wants to think about helping set up a sports card show in Saratoga Springs, hook me up. Reach out to me on my, you can find me on Instagram, or you can find my email contact on my page here, and let me know. But that's it for me. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys liked the cards I'm showing, my new stuff, and stuff I'm going to get graded, and I'll see you next time. Bye.